This book, I cannot find the words to actually write a review, which is why I'm now doing a video review for it, and I don't even know how to go about talking about it, so I'm just going to babble incessantly for a few minutes if you don't mind. The book in question is none other than Bloodrose by Andrea Cremer. Ooh. Penguin sent me this advanced reader copy back in November. It was pretty much the best birthday ever. I got the email on my birthday and it was like so sweet. I'm so excited, and the reason I don't have an actual finished copy is because I ordered one online from Barnes & Noble, and Barnes & Noble apparently is very stupid and it takes them over 2 weeks to ship to Canada. So that's why I don't have an actual finished copy with me, but I really wanted the special edition one, so that's why it's coming from Barnes & Noble. I have mixed feelings about this book. The series as a whole I love. I love Calla as a character. I am a fan of Calla and Ren. Shay can kiss it. And this book was just so good. But for those of you who don't know, so in Nightshade and Wolfsbane, you're introduced to all these characters, and the books just get better and better, 1 and 2. And then in Bloodrose is kind of like the final action scene for the series, if that makes any sense. There are 3, I almost said 4, but there are 3 parts of the elemental swords. I hope I got that right. Elemental swords that they need to find that Shay can use. So you go on these 3 crazy adventures to find the swords, and each one represents a element. It is non-stop action in this book. It is fantastic, where the second book was really getting you used to all these new characters and a new direction that the series was taking, and book 1 was just introducing you to the main characters and the whole story behind what the werewolves were and why they were there, and getting you interested in all the magic and invested in the story and these characters that you really come to love. This story is definitely the climax for everything. You learn a lot about the characters. A lot of stuff is finally tied up, and then comes the ending. Now, I don't want to ruin it for anyone, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I see how this was the only way the book could end. Thinking through, I mean, picturing myself as Andrea Cremer, which would be fantastic because she is a genius. I can't think of another way where the characters in the story itself would be written where readers, at least some of them, were happy. I personally think that in a lot of ways the ending was a bit of a cop-out, at the same time as being the only way it could really be done. I was happy for the happy ending, because I mean, what kind of book would it be if it didn't have a happy ending? So that's not really a spoiler. And I mean, I loved all the events that came up until about, I don't know, that much. That may be a little much. I don't know. Yeah, about that much of the book. So the last, I don't know, 20-30 pages or so. And then I'm like, oh, balls. No, this is not happening. I still love the book. Don't get me wrong. I love the book. I love the series as a whole. I will be telling people about them, but I guess a really good comparison would be comparing this trilogy in the sense of how it ended to the Hunger Games trilogy and how it ended. It's just, it's happy but a little disappointing, if that makes sense. I don't know, I love Calla as a character. I love the name Calla. I think it's super cool. I love how Ren pisses her off by calling her Lily all the time, and how Ariadne, I hope I said that right, takes it up as well. And then it's that foreshadowing from book 2 that you may figure out before you actually find out. Just in case you haven't, you know, read the second book, I'm not going to ruin that either. But Calla, I think I kind of wanted to slap her more than once in this book. I mean, at the end of book 2, huge cliffhanger, and you're like, oh my god, what is she doing? And then with the first chapter being posted online before Bloodrose actually came out, and before the galleys were even out, I think, you're just like, oh my god, and it really confused the love triangle, and it really put both candidates in the running as to who she was going to choose. And this book, I don't know, I felt as though she kept saying, I'm not going to choose, I'm not going to choose, I'm not going to choose. Meanwhile, she had chosen. And I think in a lot of ways, in that respect, she was a bit of a tease, and she was stringing along one of the guys. And I mean, if it were me, I would have just been like, you know what, I'm sorry, I love him over you, I love you, just not in that way, even though I'm a little confused, but I feel complete with him and not with you, and broken someone's heart. I'm kind of a bitch, I guess. But I don't know, I felt as though Calla wasn't always the strong character I thought she was. I thought she regressed a bit into a needy 14-year-old high schooler first romance at times. But then there were those scenes where she turns it all around and she's just kick-ass, and I'm like, hell yeah, she rocks. I tried writing this review and I got absolutely nowhere. It was just like freaking gibberish on the computer screens, which is why I'm doing this review video, so that I can just ramble and force you to watch umpteen minutes of me just speaking. But yeah, so I don't know. I will definitely read this series again in its entirety. I will be telling people about this series. I will recommend it to people, and it's one of those series that's definitely going to always have a place on my bookshelf, and plus they're so pretty. But it wasn't like phantasmagorical, amazing, oh my god, crazy breakdown into tears of unknown origin, extremely great. That makes sense. I love the first 2 books in the series, and I loved most of this one and not the rest of it. So let's leave it at that. So yeah, that is the end of this review. I think I have blathered for long enough about Andrea Cremer's Bloodrose, which is amazing and is on sale now, even though it says February on the galley. It's wrong. 9.5 out of 10. Good book. 5-star rating on Goodreads. You need to read this series if you haven't read it. It is fantastic, full of twists. I should probably do a review on the series as a whole and be like, you need to read this, but ultimately I wish it had ended a little differently. So yeah, that sums it up. More than I've summed it up multiple times in this video. So I'm going to shut up now, and happy reading, guys. Bye! Barnes & Noble, send me my damn copy. I would like it to come sometime soon.